My name is Elise, and like Marika said, I've been part of Garage48 since 2010, when the first event happened here in Tallinn. And I was participating then. But that was a long time ago, and I worked in the startup community in Estonia and across Central Eastern Europe since 2007. Been in startups myself, but also advising many, mentoring in several different accelerators, launched Startup Wise Guys Accelerator here in Estonia. I work at the corporate world, advising Microsoft what to do with startups, and today I'm joining Lift 99 to expand their ideas further. But let me tell you how to pitch your ideas in 90 seconds and how to get a team. The main idea is at Garage48 events, every participant, it doesn't matter which role you are, has the opportunity to pitch your idea on stage. The aim for pitching your idea is to get a team, to get at least 4 members to join your team, so you would be able to build something throughout the weekend. So for example, it's not enough to have just 4 marketeers in your team, because you wouldn't have enough power to actually build something. And that's what Garage48 is about, to put teams together who are able to build, but at the same time who are also able to market, who are able to research and design the stuff as well. And like Christian was telling you about the lean startup approach, 48 hours is exactly what gives you the opportunity to test, to start with the very small steps and continue further later when you have figured out the first opportunities and the risks and possibilities that you have. But of course, pitching your idea in 90 seconds is also about getting some feedback. So people ask questions, they give you further advice. And this is why I advise you, if any of you are thinking about pitching the idea tomorrow, when I'm done with my talk, come in front and test your idea in front of the people that are already here. Because you will get tons of feedback already. Your idea might get feedback that there are other possibilities like that already out there, so you can do more research. By the way, the fact that something similar has already been built doesn't matter at all. The question is how you can do it better. What else is there? Get attention. The startup world itself anyway is about getting some attention and being remembered. So whatever you do on stage, think about that part as well. There will be about 30 people pitching their ideas. So take a moment to figure out how other participants will remember you and your idea, your approach, after you're done with your 90 seconds. Monica already told you some things about the details. The point is that you will have possibility to show 1 slide in the background. And please do not send your text script to Monica. The slide is about additional information or just creating the emotion. It might be a photo. It might be just 1 word. So with that 1 slide, less is more. You want people to listen to you rather than read the text on the slide. Why I have so much text on the slide is that I'm giving you a lecture. I'm not pitching a startup. And it's completely different stuff. How this works. By the way, tomorrow we should figure out how to show 16 to 9 slides rather than these things. So tomorrow, every participant has the opportunity to come to the stage and has the 90 seconds. There will be a person sitting in the front row showing you a timer, so you would get even more nervous and seeing how the seconds are ticking your way. There will be 1 Garage48 team member who will be using this big A1 poster and writing down some keywords at the same time when you are talking. This poster will be yours after you are done with your 90 seconds. And this is what you will also show after everybody has pitched their ideas. You will stand next to your poster and say, "Come here, come enjoy my fantastic idea." But it will be useful for you because people will find you there. They don't have to remember your face, but they also have the name of your idea and they see where you are. What else? The audience can ask further questions after you're done with 90 seconds. But it's not about going into long discussion, but just quick questions to figure out some further information about your idea. And they should be answered pretty quickly and shortly as well. Did I skip something? Oh yeah, you will use a microphone. And microphone means that whenever you turn, your head turns together with the microphone. So when you practice a little bit today at home in front of a mirror, practice with a dummy microphone. Basically, take something in your hand, figure out that it moves with you. The story matters even in 90 seconds. What it means is that if you have a personal story, then tell that personal story. If you start with saying who you are, then you don't have to list everything that you do, that you're a student and you're working and you're from Cyprus and you came with a plane and you like Monica, but you should talk about those things that matter. If you're going to have an idea about, I don't know, plants that are in offices, then say why you care about it. If your history is being a landscape architect, then that might matter, but not completely other relevant stuff. But also get information about your idea. It's also up to you to figure out if already something similar is out there and how they're doing it. Make research, simple. Go and Google some stuff. And if you get some feedback and questions, for example today, then test that part as well. Go and figure out what else you can figure out from that. If you see that other people have similar ideas, go and talk with those people, because you can possibly also merge different ideas that you have. What I strongly suggest, if you already know that you want to pitch an idea tomorrow, then write a script. It means taking a pen and paper and writing it with real words. And what it gives you, first of all, it will give you an overview of everything that you want to say. If you practice, then it will give you a chance to change different parts in the text. And you will also even see visually how long different parts are. For example, if the introduction is half of the text, then the introduction is too long. So you already have that approach. And if you have it written, then while practicing, you can start adding further information to that. If you're feeling very comfortable with the text already, you can add further, let's say, jokes or some other comments in there. It's a rough example how to divide your time tomorrow in 90 seconds. And I would like to emphasize it's just an example. So you don't have to build your pitch based on that. But a couple of things. Basically, what you should start with is your introduction. My name is Elise, and a little bit about the background that I mentioned to you previously. Then the idea. The simplest way in the startup world is to first talk about the problem. Convince the audience that there is a problem. Tell them what the problem is. And then it's the easiest way to go to the solution. The audience already knows what the problem is, and they already believe you that the solution is needed. You have also shown that you have information, background, and confidence working with this thing. But also talk about what will be the impact of your solution. How many people would actually need it? And if you have a small vision what you want to build, even if you're not a technical person, you should talk about your vision. What do you want to build in 48 hours? Is it the mobile app? Is it something physical? Is it a website? Is it the software? What is it that you want to have in 48 hours at the end of the event? That vision is what the audience will take, and this is what they care about, and they also see whether their experience, practice, knowledge fits with what you want to build. What you should also say is that who are the people that you need in your team? Basically, what are the skills that you would need? Again, if, for example, if you're not a technical person, then it's completely fine for you to say that well, I need everybody. But if you have described your vision, what you want to build, you can be quite sure that they already understand what kind of skills will be needed with your idea. By the way, what I didn't mention previously at the beginning of my talk is that if you have questions, then you can yell them immediately. When you start saying who you are, first, your working title for your idea. You can change it in the next 48 hours or the next 2 years when you continue building your startup, but that will be the first thing that the volunteer writing down the keywords will write on the poster as well. So you want something in there. So just come up with a working title that works in the beginning. The talk in the startup world has to be simple. I'm sure that many of you knew a lot about circular economy before you came here, but many didn't. For example, Christian talked about it in a very easy way. So it's easy to understand. This is how you should do it. You want everybody to understand what you're talking about. You're talking about something specific, and you're going to use too many difficult terms and words and long sentences, then half of the audience won't understand you. If you're talking about, let's say, biotech, and there are a couple of experts in the audience, don't worry about looking fool or not smart enough. They will ask you further questions if they want to. But if you just make your talk understandable for these experts, then 80% doesn't understand. So easy words, easy to pronounce, easy to understand, short sentences, and make sure that everybody are able to understand what your idea is about. Stage presence itself. Hi, Nance. The confidence starts with yourself, and the audience mirrors it back. When you talk about your idea with confidence, then the audience believes you. Now, how it starts, exactly like you did in there. You don't stand somewhere like this. You stand straight with your shoulders back. You look at the audience, and not just people in the front row, but people in the back, people everywhere. When you use your hands, for example, then do it knowingly. Do not just randomly talk about different things. You just saw, I can do this stuff when I say randomly, but if I would do it all the time, then I wouldn't be precise and my gestures would actually disturb you. In 90 seconds, I strongly suggest not to walk on the stage. The 90 seconds is so short time that you want the audience to concentrate on you. If you're going to do a longer talk in the future, then some movement, some walking is fine, but again, it's always done knowingly by the best speakers. They know when they step, they know when they look down, they know when they look at the screen, because they also know that audience will look exactly where they are looking or pointing. So the point is, when you practice, for example, today, then practice in front of a mirror, or take a friend and ask them to use a phone to just video you, make a video, and watch the video, even if it's so embarrassing to watch yourself. And know what to do. So that, for example, if you're doing some kind of gestures every 10 seconds, then you could skip them. Or if you see that you're not moving your hands at all, then you could add some movements. Or if you're moving your hands too much, then maybe reduce that a little bit. At the same time, if you record yourself, what it gives you is that you're more comfortable with yourself on stage. You know what you do. Don't try to be somebody else. That's the most important thing. What I've seen in this 10 years experience with startups is that also at the accelerators, they train startups speakers, pitchers to be exactly the same. It's so boring. I like to see personalities and yourself. And this is exactly what you should show tomorrow. Yourself, because you're getting a team to build something cool and something that you strongly believe in. Your voice. First of all, speak rather slowly than too quick. If you put too many words in 90 seconds, the audience won't be able to actually understand you or get the important bits out of that. If you speak slower, then you can take pauses. Taking pauses will help you to emphasize the important elements. If you mention numbers like 1 million speakers, then putting a pause in front and after the number will make the audience immediately understand that this was important. And also, by the way, you take some pauses and you end up messing up your sentences and you don't forget what was the next thing that you wanted to say, then taking pauses will help you. Already, speak loud. Although we will have a microphone, the microphone is not here to make your voice with better intonation and a better speaker and your voice better to listen to. It will just make it even more louder or hearable for people in the back. But when you speak louder, then you can play with your voice. The intonation will be much better. So do it again, knowing, use your voice. Yeah, and like I already said, skip the difficult words. It will be easier then as well. I already told you about practicing, but it's never too much to emphasize the importance of that. At the same time, Garage48 is also completely fine to have those people on stage who just come up with their idea in the evening tomorrow. But if you know that you will pitch your idea anyway, then it's the best place to practice and put yourself to test on the stage and do the practicing before. So in front of a mirror, and yes, when you practice, then actually use your voice. It's not enough to just read from a paper, because the way you talk is completely different from the way you read. But use your voice. I think Monica is like in front of that.
I'm sorry.
Make sure that your slide fits the screen. We did make it sure. This is why this looks ugly.
I thought this is design. It looks cool.
Sometimes that might happen as well, right?
I thought that's intentional. I mean, it aligns very well.
No, all of the slides, they are out of sync. These slides are 4:3, but actually the design itself is 16:9. So you need to figure out what is the slide size that you need to send so it would look good on the stage. You can always ask that before the event from Monica, for example. Go to the stage computer and ask for Monica.
You can go and check out the stage and
exactly.
see how big the screen is.
Because it's up to you to make sure that it works. And like I said, it's just one slide. It can be a photo, it can be a PowerPoint slide, it can be even a photo of a drawing that you have made. We have had many of these examples as well. You don't have time to make a slide, but you come up with an idea tomorrow evening. You have a pen and paper, you make a drawing, take a photo, you send it to Mike. That's very good as well. And if you mess up, you have practice today, you know that you're going to pitch tomorrow, and you've forgotten everything that you needed to talk about, or slide doesn't look good, doesn't matter. The point is what you believe in. If you think that your idea is great, then show the confidence that you have, and always continue. This is why I say that if you practice your pitch then practice from beginning to an end as well. That will give you the confidence that whatever happens, you can always finish your pitch. And if you miss the part of it, who cares? If people want to know, you will ask the question. If they didn't want to know, then it wasn't important in the first place. But if anything happens, never apologize. When you're doing a startup pitch, do not apologize. Nobody cares that you arrived late, your plane was late, your kid had its first tooth this evening. 90 seconds is not about that. You can talk about it with your team later, but not in 90 seconds, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. Show the confidence that you have, and then you can build next great things. Thank you.